Tito,
Yes, sir.
what's going on, my man? Thank you for joining us. You're with Stan the Man and Dennis Bermudez.
What's up,
Right
Tito?
on. What's up, guys? What's up, Dennis?
What's up, bro? Woo!
I don't just actually getting home from one of my businesses. Every Thursday, I got to do wholesale car business. I do auctions, so Thursday are my half days, and I just got home and take a little break. Then I get hit the gym.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us in this little break right now. Have you trained yet today, or you went right to work today?
Oh no, I woke up at 6 this morning, and I worked from 7 until about 12 o'clock.
So you definitely
California
you
time.
got your hands in a few things right now. Are you still managing fighters?
Yeah, Primetime 360. Yes, we are. Of course, you guys seen Don Madgen, who just won by knockout this last weekend.
Yeah. I saw that guy. That guy's getting a lot of hype right now as well. He looked good.
Yeah, man, he's a beast, man. When we first signed him, we had him come out and train at Ruka with Jason Perillo. Perillo does guys. This kid hits like a ton of bricks, and he sparred with Dos Anjos, and he held his own, which I was really proud of him. His wrestling skills. I asked him, "Well, you wrestled before?" He's all, "No, we just do it in South Africa. It was just what we watch on TV." So I was like, "God, this kid's really really tough." But he got his opportunity in UFC and won by knockout, which is great.
Yeah, for me being a fighter, I look up to fighters that not just their fighting style, but what they're doing with their name and stuff like that outside of fighting. So I mean, you're one of those guys that's the hustle's real, like the grind is real, and I really admire that. I'm like, man, I got to take some notes. We'll have to meet up and I'll get the
Thanks,
pen and
man. No,
paper
it's
out.
just one of those things you just learn in life. Back in '05 when I worked for Donald Trump on the Celebrity Apprentice, I was always on his shoulder asking questions, business questions, asking. How do you become a billionaire? He's all, well, to stay a millionaire, you got to have five sources of income coming in every year. And, I'm on source number 3 right now. So with this De La Hoya promotion starting up, this will be number 4. And if my acting stuff continues on, that could be number 5. But it's just, I got to stay busy. I got to keep hustling, and I got to keep grinding, make sure I get the most out of this life.
Now, are you trying to hustle just because that's the kind of guy you are? You have a little ADD, and you just need, or you're just trying to get rich. You're just trying, get the most bang for your buck, or you just need to be occupied. That's the kind of guy you are,
I think
or a
I
little
just
bit of
want to
both.
live a little bit of both. I was poor as a kid. I know what dirt tastes like. I know what living in a motel feels like, and my children will never see what I seen as a kid, and it just shows the hard work that I put in, and I want to show my kids what hard work and dedication is truly about.
How many
I mean,
kids
I
do you
had to
have
learn.
now? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. Go
How
ahead. What
many
you
how
said?
many kids do you have now?
I have 3 boys. I have Jacob, who's 16, and then I have Jesse and Journey, who are 9.
Because
Twin boys.
I've got 2 little guys. I got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old.
You guys got to link up. You guys got a basketball team right there.
We do.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Not
Well,
a wrestling team.
yeah, half wrestling squad.
So
Right.
now you're jumping back in. Are you excited for this opportunity now to get this next crack at Chuck Liddell to get those 2 losses back?
You know what? That's what it is. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what you're jumping at is a chance to fight him again.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have done it for anybody else. He said some things about me, and then he was like, "Yeah, let's see if Tito would even show up." Well, this was 6 months ago, and the last 13 weeks, actually 14 weeks tomorrow, I've been putting in grind. 6 days a week, 3 times a day, and I've been focused. I've been really focused, and I have an opportunity for redemption. I'm not gonna leave anything behind. I'm gonna make sure that I'm training with the right guys, I'm wrestling with the right guys, sparring with the right guys, doing the right things for strength conditioning, my cardio, and of course my nutrition is really important. I mean, everything I've been doing has been right on target of where I need to be.
Are you still out there with Perillo, Huntington
Yes,
Beach?
training with Perillo. Of course, my old wrestling partner, Rafael Davis, who wrestled at Cal State Bakersfield, who took 5th in the nation, and Scott Carr, with my jiu-jitsu. A few of the younger guys are coming up. Herdine, who fights for LFA, and another kid, Moses, who fights for LFA, are my sparring partners. And these are younger guys. I'm not sparring with older guys. It's sort of younger guys who are faster, and sometimes they get the better of me, sometimes they get the better of them, but that's just sparring. That's great training partners, and they're future champions.
So I mean, I've been in the UFC now for 7 years. I mean, but I watched you when I was in high school, and I was like, man, this guy is an animal, you
That's
know?
one of the reasons why I really wanted to get Tito on. Tito's a pioneer.
Yeah.
Like when
Oh,
Zuffa first came around, Tito was the guy. Like you're
Yeah,
probably the
I was
first
with
guy to get
UFC
into a
for
fight.
what?
I
Go
was
ahead.
gonna say you're probably the first guy to get into a dispute with Dana White over contracts, right?
I was just fighting for the same thing he was fighting for me when he was my manager against Bob Meyerowitz with the first owners of the UFC. I was just replicating exactly what he taught me, and he didn't like it because it was, two pit bulls in the same room, and it was business. And we get along now, but back then it was just we're both businessmen. He was trying to defend his business. I was trying to defend my business of Tito Ortiz. That was just something that I understood, and we butted heads a lot of times. But a lot of times he ended up giving in, and I was thankful, for him and Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta. They
So,
gave me a lot through my career of 16 years with the UFC.
yeah, that's a long time, man. Where I was going with the question before Stan butted in.
Oh, I just wanted to say what a
No,
pioneer
I'm just
Tito
kidding.
is.
Was like, like I said, I've been in the UFC for 7 years now. And it's like the same spot, same people, and just like the motivation dies. And I'm looking for like this is the motivation corner right now. Tito, how do you keep it moving? Like, do you change gyms? Do you change up stuff, or it just never got old for you?
I think it's a little bit of both. I did change gyms, but it never really got old for me just because I was so competitive. I love to compete. I like to be out of shape and to put myself in shape and just see the transformation of it. And, I really never got out of shape over the last 21 years of competition. The longest time I've ever taken off was after the Chael fight. I took one completely year off, and that was the first time in my career that I've ever taken one whole year off where I never went in the gym or anything. But I think to have that motivation after a fight's over is really just taking 1 month off. Don't go to the gym. Don't watch fights. Don't talk about fighting. Don't just literally decompress your mind completely. And I know you like to fish, so that's one way to get to it. Just go out and go fishing as much as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Because after my last fight, I've had 3 split decisions not in my favor. I was like, man, what the? I beat one guy in strikes, and he takes me down twice to my one, and the other guy he beats me by 4 strikes, but I take him down 6 times, and I'm still losing. I'm like, dude, what is going on? And I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm hanging up the gloves. I sat. At my house a little, I was just doing like a little bit here and there, just a little run, something like that, just to stay active. And I was like, I think I'm hanging up the gloves. And being, not doing anything for 2 months, I was like, no, that ain't you,
No.
Menace. You're coming back. You can do this. I watched my one buddy Chris Wade fight for that $1 million tournament and lose in the
PFL
semis, yeah, the PFL. And I was like, man, I got something for that guy. Like, I'll beat that guy. I can still do this,
Well, how old are you?
31.
See, you're young, man. I'm 43, and I've been in this business for 21 years, and all the surgeries I've had, I can't believe I'm still doing it. But it's just the grind. I love it. I love getting up and having to do the 3 days. It's just something that's in my mind, something that's in my heart, and when you love to do it, it's just a passion. But once again, financial side of it is really important. Making sure you're making the right financial moves, and of course, it comes down to management and so forth. But at the end of the day, you got to be happy. You got to be happy with what you're doing in the gym, and the people you're training with are only as good as you are. And that's what I've always learned from my career.
Yeah, I'm definitely switching it up this time and just doing things I like doing. You know what I mean? Because like sometimes going in there and going against Gregor Gillespie, who holds me down for 4 minutes out of the 5 minutes, is like, fuck, man, like. Just a complete exhaustion, which I do like that after it's done. But while I'm in it, I'm like, this is,
No,
Well,
it's
Tito,
a grind.
you're still having fun in the gym, right?
Yeah, a lot
That's
of
what it
fun.
is. You got to keep having fun. Once you stop having fun and it becomes a job, or the weight cut is too much, then it becomes, you lose the joy.
The weight cut is a big thing. If you're able to master it. I started cutting weight when I was a sophomore in high school, and I really learned how to do it when I was in college. But I really learned how to do it was after I lost the world title, and I got too skinny when I fought Randy Couture. I was walking around about 213. I had to make 205. I should have been a lot heavier, and I didn't. I didn't understand the weight cut exactly. But now it's so perfect where I cut 20 pounds, and 5 hours later, I'm 20 pounds right back on, and I'm not exhausted. I'm not tired. And it goes to the nutrition side of it. I'm making sure I'm eating the right stuff. I'm not having nutrition come in and do it for me, because that just shows laziness. That shows that I don't want to do it. I got to do it myself by making these sacrifices, by eating the right things to know what my body likes, because everybody's body is completely different than one another. but you got to make the right things to make your body work the right way.
And that's another thing too. When you're cooking for yourself, you start learning some little tricks. You can also pick up some chicks with it. Like, hey, babe, come over. I cook you a little meal.
Yeah,
I'm like, like, whoa, he could cook too, and he's strong and handsome.
Yeah, no, that helped me out a lot. Let me tell you.
Yes,
like,
I am, baby.
Now, I think I cooked for her for the first 6 months we were together, and she just couldn't believe how good I could cook. But that's one of those things my grandma taught me. She said you got to make sure you learn how to cook. You never know when you're going to be alone.
Yeah, that's right, man.
So now I'm looking at this upcoming fight with you and Liddell. Is this going to be at 205, or are you guys going to fight this one at heavyweight?
No, this is at 205. Like I say, I walk around right now about 225. I'll have no problem at all making the weight at 205. Actually, it'll be 206 because they give a 1 pound weight allowance for California Athletic Commission. But it won't be a problem at all. I mean, I've fought 205 pounds my whole career. Besides when I was the middleweight world champion, it used to be 199 before they made my weight class of 205. Because of me, they asked me what would be the perfect weight, and I said 205 would be perfect. But I've never missed a weight. I've always been on weight every single time, and this fight won't be any different.
Now, is that promotion on something now? Do you think they can pick up some steam with this? Are they paying their fighters the right way?
Well, this is an opportunity to actually to give back to the fighters. De La Hoya says, all I want is 40%, and you guys keep the rest.
Should I tweet De La Hoya and be like, hey, man, I'm thinking about coming over?
Hey, you got my number, man. Talk to me. I mean, I'm part of the business. This is so he wants us to become partners, man, and that's what it's about. Is about giving back to the fighters. I mean, I'm a fighter, and I've always wanted to give back to fighters. I never had an opportunity or a platform to give back to fighters because I've always been kind of cut off right off the very beginning. And now there's an opportunity to work with De La Hoya. He's a fighter, and he wants to give back to fighters that he's done through boxing with Canelo. I mean, many boxers. Now I'm getting an MMA, and he wants to bring me along with him. So maybe I'm able to give back to all the MMA guys to start making a piece of the pie. You make a piece of the pay-per-view, you make a piece of the gate, you make a piece of the sponsorship, and you're not really controlled by only having one sponsor through your whole career or through all your fights. You have to go out and get those sponsors.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I'm not bad-mouthing UFC. I mean, they've fed me and my family for the last 7 years, and I haven't had to work a normal job. So I mean, I'm very thankful for that.
I think all fighters love the idea of an open market.
UFC do give a lot to fighters. I'm not trying to take any fighters from UFC at all.
Yeah.
If they're with UFC and they're happy and they're doing great, congratulations. Keep doing it. But there is so many fighters out there. I want to give those guys an opportunity. I give those guys an opportunity to build their brand, to build their names, to be big household names, but at the same time to make great money. Like a lot of these guys, a lot of these boxers who are making 15, 20, 30 million a fight. And you're like, why? It's because they're being cut in as a partner of the event in general. And I think that's what I want to try to change the game by doing that. And with Oscar De La Hoya behind me doing that, I think this could happen.
Because, I mean, the money I'm making, I'm happy with, But then I look at NBA players, and I look at NHL players and NFL players. I'm like, man, and Tito, I think you could agree with me. I don't think they work harder than us.
No.
There's nobody in the world, and I don't care who they are, there's nobody in the world that works harder than us. No way. There's not a lonelier sport in the world than mixed martial arts. Because we're the ones that go out there to have to compete against another man by ourselves.
Yeah.
We got to get up and we got to train. We got to eat right. We got to train. We got to lift. We got to run. You got to cut the weight. And you're all doing this by yourself. And when you go to bed at night and you're laying in bed, you don't have a team to back you up. Yeah, there's a team that supports you and helps you get ready for the fight. But when it's fight time, it's you alone. So that's what makes the individual.
Yeah.
It makes it so lonely. I mean, you can never doubt yourself. And you can never question yourself. Because when you do that, you already lost the fight.
Yeah, I actually had a dispute with my manager going back a while ago. Is my first bonus performance of the night bonus or whatever, and he was like, "Yep, that's I get 20% of everything." I was like, "Whoa. No. You did not go in there and negotiate that I went out there and put my fucking shit on the line and got blasted in the face and got fight of the night. Like you had nothing to do with that, dude." You had nothing to do with that. I mean,
and with our company, Primetime 360, my partner George Frazier, we actually had that with Don Madge, actually. So he got the fight of the night, and we didn't want anything of it. We're like, you worked your butt off to get that. You put on the show. You deserve 100% of that. I mean, that's the type of stuff that we want to be transparent as management. We're not trying to make money over them. We're not trying to make money on the back end. We're really cut line and sinker exactly what it's supposed to be during the contract, and that's how we manage the right way. Because I'm a fighter. I know what it takes to get in the cage. I know what it takes to get into camp month after month after month. It's brutal. And George Frazier, he already comes from money, so he's not doing this to make money. He's doing this to make it a better sport. And that's why I've been a partner with him now for, almost 9-10 years now. So it's just a great opportunity to give back to fighters. That's how we started Primetime 360.
And I do think that eventually fighters will be, like in the UFC or whatever organization, will be making, I like to say, NFL money. But because the sport is still pretty young, you know what I'm saying? So how much time do you think it needs still for it to get? I mean, with Conor coming in, Ronda Rousey, they did a great job of, hey, I want this, and this is what I'm bringing in, and getting paid that number. But then there's other people that are like, well, it's your first fight in the UFC, you're getting $8,000 and $8,000, which I think that is.
A lot of it comes down to building the brand of yourself, going outside of not just doing the promotion in general for the fight, but building your brand by going out and working with the troops, working with charities, working with schools and kids. I mean, giving back just as a human being. I think that really brings a following that people love you. They end up going, either they love you or they hate you. They hate you because you talk smack about the guy you're fighting against, or they love you because you're a guy who gives back, and a guy who goes out there and gives your heart and soul in the cage and to literally entertain millions of fans. And that's what they love. Either you get knocked out or you knock them out. And that's the way it should be. I mean, you got to put your heart on your sleeve. And that's what I've always done through my whole career.
Oh yeah, you've always been that guy, Tito. Definitely a guy who goes in and you can tell that like you're very invested in your performance, your career. Like you're putting your emotion in there when you get in that cage. Like even if I'm not saying you're fighting emotionally, but like you could tell you put your all into fighting just by how you react, win or lose. You could tell that Tito Ortiz is not in there playing around.
No, it is my heart and soul. I go out there and, I haven't had a bad experience, but I'm out there fighting for my fans, for my family, and, just for my integrity and my character. I go out there and put it on the line every single time. Like I say, either I win, I lose, or I get a draw. But I'm going out there to entertain. As soon as my music goes on until the fight's over, I'm going out and I'm putting on a show no matter what.
Yeah, I get that. Like, you try and get on a boat and start. No, man, I'm just trying to go, like, ding, ding, ding. Like, I'm trying to survive out there, and it's kill or be killed.
Exactly. A lot of people understand that, like, you go out there and fight. Are you thinking about the money? It's like, hell no. Me forget about the money as soon as I make weight. As soon as I make weight, I already made the money. That's done.
Right.
Now it's time for me to perform. Right. I go out there and all I think about is winning and dominating and hurting this guy because he's trying to do the same thing to me. Right. It's not about the money.
Right.
I mean, I get paid for camps. I get paid for a 12-week session or a 9-week session, or in this case, a 16-week session of training. And making the weight. I get paid for that. I fight for free. That's just the way I am.
What are your thoughts? That's why I
keep my mentality going.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on fight to win, and then showing up to fight?
Well, I mean, that's something that was great. That made my mindset change completely. Was a lot of guys have that where they get a show up fee. They get their money to show up, and then if they win, they get another fee. I never understood that. It's like, if I'm going out there to fight, I'm going out there to fight to win.
Right.
Why would I have to get another 50% of if I won? I'm going to have to win no matter what. And you're using my name to sell this brand or sell your guys' the fight in general. So it should be no matter what, I should make this amount. And this is something that we've actually been able to do with our management company, is to adapt that with our fighters. And yes, it takes a little bit of challenge, and the guys got to win fights and to show that they're going out and giving their all. But at the same time, you're able to show the promoter that you're going out to win the fight no matter what. And you're going to put on a show, win, lose, or draw.
Because I've got, obviously UFC buddies, and we've talked about this. Because when I sign a contract, I'm not like, well, if I lose, I'm going to get... Like, I'm signing that contract because I'm going to win. If I don't think I could win, I'm not taking the fight. Well, yeah, because I think I could beat everybody in the world. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So when I sign that contract, it's like, all right, I'm making, X amount, But when you don't, because one judge is like, Larry over there, like, you don't even know anything about fighting,
You're someone's brother. You got this job because you didn't have a job.
I lost $50,000 because you don't know what you're watching,
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody that fights in the UFC or any organization is like, you know what, I'll take X amount of dollars to lay down and lose. And if you
Yeah.
are, you'll lose 3 times and then you're out, or you lose twice and you're out. That's it. Like, you won't last long if you're going in there just to collect the check. Whether it's,
Exactly.
you know.
And I don't think there's, I mean, at least in mixed martial arts, or in MMA, there is no fighters that go out there to collect a check. In my mind, I've never thought like that. I never thought like, I'm going to go out there just to collect a check. Hell no. My name's on the line. I'm going out there to get my hand raised, no matter
Agreed,
what,
man.
whatever it takes. I mean, and I've always had that mentality. And I know a lot of other fighters are exactly the same way. So I don't know. I guess there's a catch-22 for a promoter to have the 50-50 deal. But as a fighter, I think it should be 100%. If you can show your marketing side of it and you can show that you can sell a fight, that you should make your upfront money no matter what, and just go out there and perform the best you possibly can with no pressure on yourself.
Right, because those other sports I was talking about, like if they lose a basketball game, like, yep, you're still getting paid X amount, and you're gonna go hop in your Ferrari, and you're gonna go, do whatever you're gonna do. Like if I lose, I'm like, man, I gotta change up what,
A lot of things.
like,
And
all right, like, ooh.
And then that's the other thing too. A lot of these organizations, they do make great money on the back end. They make great money on the sponsorships. They make great money on selling the licensing of the fight in general across the world. But at the same time, a lot of fighters don't make great money because bad management or bad decisions are made. And that's why I think I started Primetime 360, is being able to change those things, because I've made mistakes through my career, and I don't want to make sure other fighters don't make the same mistakes that I've made. So I'm able to recognize those, and I have George Crazy, who's an attorney also, to make sure that those things are corrected.
Do you think the reason why you are right now and giving back is kind of like the wrestler in you? Because I've worked out with so many coaches that it was for free, like, not like, oh, Dennis, you owe me this much for the hour we wrestled. They just wanted me to do well. They just wanted me to be successful, and like I want to do that for other wrestlers and now MMA guys,
Well, I think that really comes down to, yes, being a wrestler, but I think just being a patriot and American, man. I want to make someone successful along with me, and I think that's really important, is to push them to a different level and help them become successful. And that's just the patriot in me, I think. As being American and being here in the United States, it's super, super important. It's not a dog-eat-dog world to me. It's I'm willing to help somebody up as I come up, just as long as they don't pull me down, because once they pull me down, I'm going to let go.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Well, you're certainly doing a good job of it, being a role model and letting people know what a fighter should be, Tito. You've done that your whole career, I'd have to say.
Thank you, man.
So now, this fight, November 24th, this historic career you've had, what's the highest moment of your career? Is it winning the UFC title? Is it, what would you say would be the highest moment of your career so far?
Gosh, there's been so many. Of course, the beginning of my career, when I won the world title against Vanderlei Silva, that was a huge stepping stone for me. At the same time, I was only in the competition for only a year and a half. I became the world champion, fighting Vanderlei Silva, who is just
another legend.
And Brazil. But I think one of the highest points had to be beating Ryan Bader at UFC 132 when I was 6-1 underdog, and all the guys are asking me, like, what am I going to do when I'm done with this fight? Am I going to retire? What is my other businesses I'm getting into? And I was like, what are you guys talking about? I'm winning this fight. Like, okay, Tito, but really, what are you going to do? I'm like, no, you're going to I'm going to win this fight. And when I won, it was all over and said and done. And that next morning when I woke up and I opened up the shears inside the drapes in my hotel room, and the sun is just shining in my face, bright as can be, and it was just like a glory feeling of like, Lord, like, there you go, buddy.
Yeah,
that work, it paid off, and that's what it feels like, and that's what glory feels like. Because if I never lost, I would never have the feeling that I felt that night or that morning when I woke up. It was just such a thankful feeling that I at least sat in my bed and I was just started crying. I mean, not weeping, but just crying of happiness and joy of being thankful, and just like, thank you for giving me this opportunity and to really show how great of a fighter I truly was. Because at the time, I was going through some troublesome times with the relationship I was in with my ex-girlfriend. I mean, I was just going through some troublesome times with the UFC. I was going through so much personal stuff that I wanted to quit. I wanted to walk away. I wanted to be done with everything. I couldn't handle it, but there was just something in me that drove me and just made me work harder. And I was with my girlfriend, Jen James, at the time, and we stayed in the same household, and I didn't talk to her for 7 weeks straight. I made sure I got up in the morning, took the kids to school. I would come back. I would sleep until 12 o'clock. I would get up. I would train until 3 o'clock. I would come back, pick the boys up from school. I would come home. The nanny would come home or come to the house. I would go back to the gym. I would train. I would come back at 8 o'clock at night before the boys went to bed. I would put them to bed, and I would hop on my Xbox. And I did that for 7 weeks, and I never spoke to her for 7 weeks the full time because of the negativity that I lived with that.
Yeah.
When the fight was over, I was so happy that I did what I did because it made me realize how important my kids were. It made me realize how important to have a positive household for your children and for myself as a fighter, and just be in a great relationship as I am right now with Amber Nicole Miller. She's a wonderful woman. She shows me what a true relationship, a partnership should be like. And it's just amazing because I've been able to thrive over the last 5 years, be where I am today, where I'm happy to fight. It's great to get in the gym and train. It's great to get up every day and push myself in the gym, but then come home when I'm done and the kids are here and everything's taken care of, and she's asking if I'm okay, if I need anything. I got the support that a fighter needs, and I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, you went really deep right there, but I heard one thing and I was like, whoa. Tito, you play Xbox?
Yeah, but
dude, we got a game or what? Oh man, I thought we were gonna squad up, man. I thought
that used to be my exit, man. That would be my escape. I'd get away and I'd get on Xbox. I'd be playing Modern Warfare like nonstop until it's bedtime. But I don't need to get away anymore, man.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm in a household now where everything's lit up. The house is warm. I mean, I'm happy to come home. I'm happy to be in a relationship with Amber. My kids are happy. I mean,
that's
life
important,
is
man.
grand.
Yeah.
It's really important for a human being to enjoy positivity in their life.
Yeah.
Because if you indulge negativity, it'll take over your life like a disease like no other. And I cut that out of my life completely. I have no negative friends around me. I have no negative relationship. I mean, everything is in a positive up and up now where, I'm thankful. I had to live in the hell to enjoy the heaven. I'm happy where I am right now.
Yeah, man. That was it
takes a little time to get it all together. It's good to see that you're finally getting it together, especially ahead of this Chuck Liddell fight. So November 24th, you have I don't want to, ask you what your game plan is. Obviously, your game plan is to win and,
he's got to punch him in the face.
Punch him in the face and win. But after November 24th, what happens? If you win, lose, or draw, what happens after November 24th? Are you done?
Well, after I win this fight, I'm just maybe done. There's just nobody out there for me to fight. I have to have someone who I dislike that just pushes me to an edge where I just can't handle their mouth anymore. I can't handle when people sit there and talk about the guy and just like, I thought I got rid of it when I smashed Chael as quick as I did, but then all of a sudden Chuck started popping off. I was like, all right, here we go again. But here's my opportunity once again, an opportunity to have revenge, an opportunity to have redemption against someone who beat me at the time where I don't think I was physically nor mentally where I am today at all. I mean, I'm 8 to 10 times the fighter I was back then. And I just say that because that's how positive and how strong and fast I feel right now. I mean, my training camp has been going so well. But I believe that I'm done. I think this, and people are going, oh, here's Tito again saying he's done. I mean, when I retired with UFC, I did it for personal reasons. I did it because I had to get my family back. I had to go to court and I had to get full custody of my children. And I've had them over the last 5 years, and I've had 100% of custody. My ex hasn't been around at all for 5 years. I had to get my life in order, and I did that, and I stepped away. I signed with Bellator because I was like, you know what? I want to make sure I get the most out of my life. I want to make sure I'm able to compete and still have the wherewithal to literally compete. And I did. And I got in the gym with Jason. He's like, man, you're still fast. You're still reacting great in sparring. Your wrestling's good. I mean, let's do this again. I was like, all right, cool. So I signed the U with Bellator. I went up going 3-1 in Bellator. Only lost to the champ of Liam McGarry by a upside down triangle, which was just the awkwardest position I've ever been caught in my life. And then I ended up fighting Chael for my last fight, thinking that, I'm okay. I got my other businesses I started, Primetime 360, my management company, TO Auto Group, my wholesale car business, Punishment Athletics, which is my clothing company. I was doing some acting and doing really well at it. And I was still looking for that fifth source of income. And all of a sudden Chuck started talking to smack. And I was like, you know what? Maybe this might be it. Maybe in the
Smack his
promoter
mouth.
giving back to MMA fighters is what it's truly about. And like, I think that's really important.
So real quick, going, your last couple fights, you hear about our boy Stephan Bonner?
Yeah, that's really, really sad for him, man. I feel bad for the guy.
He got a DUI in midday.
Yeah, that's the report.
Yeah, I don't really know the details of it. I just heard he got caught with DUI, and I hopefully he has good people around him to help him out. I really don't wish no ill will on anybody.
Yeah.
It's that Vegas lifestyle. It's hard to live in Las Vegas.
It is. It would be tough to live in Las Vegas, that's for sure. I mean, thank God I do live in Huntington Beach, but
you can't be.
Hopefully he gets help, and there's people around that can help him, and hopefully he just finds the right road to walk down.
You can't be burning the candle at both ends.
Oh yeah.
No,
Well, Tito,
no.
you sound like a really personable guy. I'm sure me and Dennis could sit here all day and talk to you, but we don't want to keep you here all day. So November 24th, Chuck Liddell, what's going to happen?
I think this is going to be just a full-out brawl. Liddell knows he has to defend the takedown. Liddell knows that I'm going to push the pace. I'm going to be in his face, and I'm going to touch him on his chin. I'm going to take him down. I'm going to beat him down.
Yeah, I like that.
Liddell says he's going to knock me out, and he has that opportunity. But will I be there? That's going to be the real question. Can he find me?
Now, what are they doing? This will be on pay-per-view?
This will be on pay-per-view on November 24th, Saturday night, live from the Forum in Los Angeles, California. And have a full stack card, and actually we got an amateur card on the underneath of it too, to kind of look for the future of MMA. So trying to get back to younger guys also.
Yeah, you're doing a good job of that. Usually we have guys on here that have a little bit of less, of a fighting career than Dennis. So I'm asking for Dennis to give them advice. But Tito, what kind of advice can you give Dennis going forward in his career?
Thanks, Dan.
It really just comes around of who you surround yourself with is who you become, man. And at the end of the day is don't ever step on anybody to get ahead. Be honest. Just expect whatever you do to anybody is what you're going to get back to yourself. And that's just straight karma, man. That's the way life is. And as coming from a wrestling background, and wrestlers, they're the most honest people in the world and the most hardworking people in the world. And nothing against anybody else who does work hard and who are honest or so forth. But I just learned that wrestling is what saved my life. I found wrestling when I was in high school, and wrestling found me in high school. But it changed me, and it made me the man I am today, and I'm very, very thankful. Now, I know Dennis is a great guy, but at the end of the day, Dennis, you got to look for your future of just making sure you make the right moves. This is chess. Life is chess. You got to make sure you make the right moves at the right timing, and be confident when you do things. That's what it comes down to. And like I say, just be honest and work hard and look for other ways to make money, not just in the fight world. Either it's in the apparel world or in the automotive world.
Well, you're on the podcast right now. Hopefully, this could turn into some dinero. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yep. And that works. I mean, it's just one of those. Just make sure you do stuff that you like to do.
Yeah.
Stuff that's fun to you. And when I do the car stuff, I love cars. I love going out and bidding on cars and buying cars. And I could go to a car and run the VIN number and look and see if it's been painted or if it's been body shop work done to it.
Tito, I'm a pretty big car guy.
Oh, really?
Well, I'm Puerto Rican. My dad had a body shop growing up.
Doesn't he still have a body shop?
Yeah, he'd be out of body still kicking.
See,
hey, when I see you again,
money's truly in there. There's a lot of money in the car business. People, all the car business guys, they keep quiet because there is so much money in it.
Yeah, when I see you again, we're gonna talk cars for sure.
Awesome, man.
Well, hopefully we'll get you on again after this November 24th fight, Tito. We appreciate you for joining us. We don't even need you to give a shout out or anything unless you want to. Thank sponsors or anything. Everybody knows who you are, so.
I just want to thank all my fans for the support. Over the last 21 years, there's a whole new age of fans now, and of course, all the older age fans, they watch my career to what I do when it comes to competition. I go out and I compete and I put on a show. For all the newer fans that have seen a little bit of it when I fought Chael, that was just the beginning, and I'm going to do the same thing on November 24th. Of course, they can check it out my Instagram at Tito Ortiz 1999. Once again, that's Tito Ortiz 1999 Instagram. I do all my story, all my training. I do, just midlife, just life stuff that I do, man. Some motivational things, and I hope I don't hurt anybody's feeling by the support that I give to Trump. But he is our president. You got to let him do the good job that he's doing. And people say you shouldn't talk about politics, but you know what? I never have until this, because I just want the future of my children to have a bright future and a safe future, and that's really important to me.
Do you know what I tell people that say don't talk about politics?
What's that?
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, shut your mouth, right? It is what it is, man. Like I say, man, I'm an American. I'm proud of our country, and I think we should really keep it safe for the future of our children. So.
Oh yeah, I agree with you completely. You got to be a patriot, no matter who your president is. You got to support them. You got to support the greater good, the goal of getting everybody better.
Yep. So many guys supported Obama back in the day, and they never got the harsh craziness that people are getting for supporting Trump now, and it just doesn't make sense. It just seems like people are so contradictive, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It just doesn't really make sense. The guy's the president, and he was voted. He's doing a great job so far, and he's just doing what he said he was going to do. Obama never did anything that he said he was going to do, and Trump is a man of his word. I worked for him, and people say that he hates Mexicans. Well, he didn't never hate this Mexican, and he doesn't hate all the other ones that are here legally. So that's what it comes down to. And if you want to live in America, living for a great country as we live in, you got to be here legally, and that's what truly matters.
Yeah, if you were a Mexicant, then maybe he wouldn't be down with you.
And also, before we let you go, Tito, I wanted to say I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw you go hard for Halloween.
Yeah, I do. No, my kids love it, man. My kids dig. My kids are 9 years old. The twins, they love it. They're not afraid of anything. They just scare kids. Like last night, I actually was Jason, and I go full Jason.
Yeah, he was full Jason. Were you standing at your door greeting kids like that?
No, so we have we have a gate in front of our house, so we actually set up the whole outside with like candles and big ghost and so forth. So we have like kind of a scary house. You got to walk up to the front of our entrance. But I scared the hell out of kids when I did, though.
Oh, that's too funny.
Like stuffed Michael Myers and stuff. So I make it fun for my kids, make it fun for the kids in the neighborhood, and that's what things like that to celebrate her for is to put a little spooky in their life. And I think I scared more adults last night than I did kids.
Oh yeah, once I saw it, I had to do a double take and be like, "What?" And then I remembered it's Halloween. And I saw that was like a full on that must have cost a couple $100 that costume.
No, that costume was actually I think like $40.
Oh, that's an expensive Halloween costume in my opinion. Go look at his Instagram, Dennis. You'll agree with me.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
And I think what cost the most was the mask and the knife. That was it. That jumpsuit I ended up picking up at a Goodwill. I mean, I try to save money as much as possible. Yes, I do make okay money, but I still try to save money.
It might have been your craftsmanship, but that was a legit costume.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, so Tito, November 24th. Good luck against Chuck Liddell. And Dennis, you got anything to say to Tito?
I don't think this luck is needed on this one. I think it's just the hard work and the dedication I put into the fight. And I watched some of Chuck's training stuff, and I hope he's joking. I hope he's really trying to psych me out, because the speed that he's at is about a 1, and I'm about a 9 right now. So it may be a short fight, or it may be a long, brutal fight. But that's what I'm prepared for, is a long, brutal fight.
Either way, man.
More in the back of my cause.
I'm looking forward to watching.
Awesome, man. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you again for joining us, Tito. Talk to you soon.
Awesome, man. Bye-bye.
The Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz.
Tito Ortiz, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Tito would have stayed the whole show.
Yeah.
Tito was really feeling us.
Yeah.
You and him definitely bonded there.
That's one thing I have with fighters is like they get me. I get them.